So I'm here with another great guest here at the NOAA conference here in Zurich, Switzerland, where investors and startups are getting together and hopefully they're falling in love and then going on a nice journey together to ensure these really good solutions for sustainability and digitalization and of course prosperity move forward. I've got a guest with me here today, and if you could say who you are and what is your company?
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. My name is Møller Holst. I'm the CEO and founder of Goodwings. We are a hotel booking platform that calculates your emissions and verifiably removes your emissions.
Wow. So you're here at NOAA to obviously expose people here, investors as well, about what you're doing. What makes this platform special? Why is it a little bit different to what others may have seen before?
Hopefully it's much more different from what you see elsewhere. So basically there are no online travel platforms that take responsibility for the emissions that they co-produce when people use them to travel. And the reason is they're spending all their revenues on advertising. Some $45 to $50 billion is being allocated to ads every year. Booking.com, Expedia, all these guys are just pouring 3/4 of the revenues into the same ads year after year. We don't do that. So we don't make money from the hotels that you might book with us. We make money from the subscription payments from individuals and primarily businesses, paying us a fixed monthly fee to be able to book with us. And in return, when they book, we calculate how much are you emitting with your total travel, not only the hotel, but also your emission from your flight or train or bus or car taking you to the hotel and back. And that's your total travel footprint. Verifiably removing that is quite costly. $20 to $30 per ton to remove it. We can pay that with the booking revenues from the hotel bookings.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it quite a tight margin then between what the cost of those emissions that you're removing and what you get from the revenues, the subscriptions, etc.?
It's a low margin business, which is really the typical answer when I challenge the industry leaders. Why are you not showing any climate leadership? Well, it's a low margin and we spend all the money on advertising.
Yeah.
If you book a hotel in Boston for €1,000, 3-4 night stay, we get 8-9% commission. So there's 80-90 euros or dollars. We take that money and we use it to verifiably remove your emissions. So it's a closed loop. All the hotel bookings finance climate change mitigation, and we live up relatively small, but hopefully thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of subscription payments from climate conscious travelers, individuals, families, and business leaders and businesses. Yeah.
How long have you been running? How long have you been going?
I started the company, I co-founded it in 2015. We had a somewhat different impact focus up until COVID. We supported all kinds of projects within the 17 global goals. And then COVID hit us quite severely in March 2020. And we deliberately chose to use COVID as a time for innovation and pivot. So we relaunched Goodwings in January 2021. And this year, despite COVID, we've signed up hundreds of businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've been going on for quite some time. We've raised €5.5 million, and are looking to raise hopefully a Series A next year.
Right. So if you're not spending money on advertising, how do people get to know about you?
We spend some money on advertising, but what we do primarily is we do climate partnerships. We partner with We Don't Have Time. We Don't Have Time is promoting us and helping to build our brand. We work with Intuit, a US software company. Intuit has 14 million business clients. And they fell in love with Goodwings in May because they read about us in Forbes. And they're now, without getting anything in return, promoting us to their 14 million businesses.
Right.
We have the same with Impact Hub, also promoting us to their clients globally. So we do climate partnerships. We combine that with, I would say, more efficient performance marketing. We do some paid advertising, but we combine it with the market, with the climate partnerships. So we basically get much more favorable unit economics.
Right.
Yeah.
What I liked, what you were saying to me earlier, was that if you go on and you're going to make a journey, that you actually give the user, the consumer or whatever, the idea that, this is a plane, this is a train, this is a car, whatever, this is what your carbon footprint would be, and try to, in a sense, sensitize people, because, it's a long journey we're on with climate change, to the reality that there are other modes of transportation to the aircraft, and that if they make sense, they probably are the lower carbon possibility. And I think that's very important and a very good point there. Do you see others coming into this area? Do you see others starting to realize that this is actually important?
On the calculation side, luckily, I see so many startups also here at NOAA conference. And I think we need to understand our footprint better as individuals and as consumers and businesses. But we need to make it even easier, because few people really log into all these services and apps and calculate their emissions. It needs to be built into the services that we use on a regular basis. So it just happens automatically. And then if you can combine that with the business model that can actually pay for the removal of your emissions, then you're onto something. Then I believe you can make the green solutions mainstream, because especially in travel, price is everything. You don't spend 2 hours finding that train or plane ticket cheapest, and then at checkout say, okay, I'll pay 80 quid extra to remove my emissions. It's counterintuitive. So you need to find a way of unlocking the financing. That's what we do. So I hope that will be copied from a climate perspective. I know my investors would hate me saying it, but I hope that others find inspiration in what we do. I don't think the competition will come from the industry leaders, because they are so used in going to market traditionally, just spending millions or billions on advertising and seeing their bookings go up. So I think, and you can't spend the money twice. You can't spend all your money in advertising and at the same time pay for removing your clients' emissions. You can't do that. So you need to either do traditional go-to-market or really adopt a new distribution approach, as we do.
So finally, it's a broader question than just your business. But when we were at COP26, we were astonished just before the meeting in Glasgow at these numbers that came out from the International Monetary Fund on the amount of money governments are spending on subsidizing fossil fuels. And we started to do a counter in Glasgow that was ticking up every day the amount of money that was being spent on fossil fuels. And we've carried on with that. And now we've got this counter, which is, there we go, how much money has been spent on subsidizing fossil fuels since Glasgow kicked off. It's now standing at 583 billion and counting. And we just think this is like, it doesn't really make much sense. And in fact, everybody we talked to in Glasgow thought it didn't make much sense either. And so at the end of the conference in Glasgow, there was actually a resolution by governments to not phase out, but phase down fossil fuel subsidies. And of course, that money can be spent on other things. Would you think that, would it be a more level playing field for all kinds of businesses and industries if, fossil fuels weren't subsidized, if they paid for what they do, and renewable energies as well could also benefit? In other words, that we can get on the track to a more sustainable future if we don't fund what is essentially old industries.
Obviously, I think we need to eradicate these unhealthy playing fields where black industries are being subsidized and the greener has to struggle to get their entry into the markets. So obviously we need to phase it out. We need to reinvest in regreening Earth. And we need to find technological solutions that can help us, and enable us to reach zero emission. The problem with travel is that it's such hard to abate. Shipping, steel, travel. And we're not going to get into an airplane. I mean, at least it's not going to be the norm in the next 15 to 20 years on a global scale that we can fly without emitting CO2. So in the meantime, we need to verifiably remove our emissions, and not just this unclear offset compensation that nobody really understands what's happening. We need to remove it through technology and nature, and it's super costly. But we have to find the money, and we hope that we can at least solve part of the problem by allocating all our booking revenues to this purpose.
Good. Thank you very much indeed for being with us, and best of luck here at NOAA with your quest to expand the business and go further.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.